Alright gamers, welcome back to PS5 Nexus. The news cycle is absolutely exploding, and if you're not plugged in, you're missing out. We've got some massive updates that are going to shake up your gaming world. First up, we're talking about something that might make you wince a little. Analyst predictions suggest that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS consoles could be facing even more price increases down the line. This isn't just speculation. It's based on economic factors and industry trends that could directly impact your next console purchase. Next, we're shifting gears to a title that's just around the corner and looking to make a huge splash. Lost Soul Aside is set to drop soon, and the developers are rolling out a Day 1 update packed with enhancements designed to give players the absolute best experience right out of the gate. We're talking performance boosts, visual refinements, and all sorts of tweaks to make this action-adventure RPG shine from the moment you boot it up. Now, for a story that's turning heads and sparking debate. A beloved classic, Gears of War, has landed on a new platform, and the verdict is in. We're exploring how this iconic title is performing, what new features it brings to the table, and whether this new iteration is truly better than its predecessors. Get ready for some surprising comparisons and in-depth analysis on this unexpected crossover. And that brings us to our final must-know update. We're delving into the nuances of this classic's new home, examining the technical prowess and the player experience. Is it a true revival or just a coat of paint? We've got all the details. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Console costs on the rise. Analyst warns of future price hikes. The gaming landscape is in a constant state of flux, and recent economic pressures are leading industry analysts to predict further price increases for current-generation consoles. This development, if it materializes, could significantly impact consumer spending and the accessibility of next-gen gaming hardware. The question on everyone's mind is, how much more will we have to pay for our beloved PS5 and Xbox Series XS? Matt Piscatella, a prominent senior director and video game industry thought leader at Circana, has weighed in on the potential for future price adjustments. His comments, made on the social platform Blue Sky, suggest that the recent price changes observed for the PlayStation 5 in the US might just be the beginning. Piscatella's insights point towards a challenging economic environment that could necessitate further upticks in console prices, affecting both Sony's PlayStation and Microsoft's Xbox offerings. This sentiment is echoed by other industry observers who have been tracking the impact of global economic factors on the gaming market. Earlier this year, Daniel Ahmed, Director of Research and Insights at Nico Partners, had already flagged the possibility of price hikes, particularly if trade agreements between the US and China remained unresolved. Ahmed noted that companies like Sony had strategically built up inventory ahead of anticipated tariffs, utilizing a temporary pause on these charges to support promotional events like Days of Play. With these buffers now depleted, the likelihood of price increases became a more pressing concern. Microsoft had already initiated a global price adjustment for its Xbox Series consoles and accessories earlier this year, with the changes taking effect in May. In the United States, both the Xbox Series S and Series X models saw notable price increases. The Xbox Series S, previously available at $299.99 for the 512GB model, was repriced to $379.99, while the 1TB version saw its price jump from $349.99 to $429.99. The standard Xbox Series X also received a $100 increase, moving from $499.99 to $599.99. Additionally, Microsoft introduced a new digital-only Xbox Series X variant priced at $549.99, and the Premium 2TB Galaxy Special Edition model was adjusted to $729.99. These adjustments reflect a broader trend within the industry to adapt to rising production and logistical costs. Furthermore, predictions extend to the next generation of hardware, with Ahmed suggesting that the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 could also face a price increase in 2026, potentially due to increased tariffs affecting production in Vietnam. The cumulative effect of these anticipated price hikes raises questions about the long-term affordability of gaming hardware and how it might influence consumer purchasing decisions in the coming years. The gaming community is abuzz with reactions to these potential price increases. Many players express frustration over the rising cost of entry into current-generation gaming, while others understand the economic pressures facing manufacturers. Analysts are closely watching how these adjustments will affect sales figures and market share for both PlayStation and Xbox. But what if you're looking for a guaranteed great experience right now, without worrying about future costs? Get ready for a title that's promising a flawless launch day with a crucial Day 1 update. Lost Soul Aside Day 1 update promises peak performance for PS5 and PC players. Prepare for an enhanced adventure as Altazero Games and Sony Interactive Entertainment gear up for the release of Lost Soul Aside, the highly anticipated action-adventure RPG. Slated for launch on August 29, 2025, for both PlayStation 5 and PC, the game centers on Kaiser's perilous quest to rescue his sister Louisa from the clutches of the dangerous Voidrax. To ensure players embark on this journey with the best possible experience, developers are rolling out a comprehensive Day 1 update designed to optimize performance, refine visuals, and deepen immersion. The Day 1 patch is not merely a minor tweak. It's a substantial overhaul aimed at delivering a smooth and polished gameplay experience. For PS5 and PC players, this means significant performance improvements, including enhanced frame rate stability that minimizes drops and ensures a more consistent and fluid playthrough. This focus on optimization extends to the combat system, promising greater responsiveness and overall stability, allowing players to fully engage with the game's mechanics without interruption. Beyond raw performance, the update also focuses on elevating the game's aesthetic and atmospheric qualities. Expect visual enhancements that refine lighting, particle effects, and overall graphical detail, making the world of Lost Soul Aside even more captivating and immersive. Complementing these visual upgrades are audio adjustments designed to further draw players into the game's atmosphere, amplifying both the intensity of combat encounters and the emotional resonance of narrative moments. The developers have meticulously fine-tuned various gameplay elements and systems, applying a final layer of polish that ensures combat and exploration feel exceptionally refined from the very beginning. To achieve the ultimate experience in Lost Soul Aside, players are strongly advised to ensure their consoles or PCs are connected to the internet to download this crucial Day 1 update before commencing gameplay. This pre-launch patch is essential for unlocking the game's full potential in terms of performance, visuals, and overall gameplay polish. By integrating these enhancements, the Day 1 update guarantees that PS5 and PC players will have access to the most refined and optimized version of Lost Soul Aside available from launch. The combination of lightning-fast combat, a cinematic narrative, and stunning graphics positions Lost Soul Aside as a major release for 2025, and this update ensures it lives up to the hype from the very first moment. Players are eagerly anticipating the release, with many expressing excitement about the proactive approach to game polish. The emphasis on a smooth, optimized experience from launch day is a welcome sign for fans who have been following the game's development closely. The developers' commitment to delivering a high-quality product is evident in the detailed nature of the Day 1 patch. Now that we've covered a game that's polishing its launch, let's talk about a classic that's reappeared on a whole new stage. Get ready for a deep dive into how a legendary title is performing on a new console, and what that means for the industry. Gears of War Reloaded on PS5, a genre masterpiece reimagined. The return of Gears of War, a franchise synonymous with Xbox, to PlayStation consoles via Gears of War Reloaded presents a fascinating paradox. This remaster of the iconic Xbox 360 cover shooter not only graces the PS5, but according to many, performs even better than its original iterations, with the PS5 Pro offering the pinnacle of this experience. However, beyond the technical enhancements, the question remains: does the gameplay itself still hold up, or is it merely a nostalgic trip? The game itself is a remaster of a remaster, with the Coalition having previously released the Ultimate Edition in 2014. This latest version, Reloaded, boasts significant graphical upgrades, supporting 4K resolutions and aiming for up to 60 FPS in the campaign, with multiplayer targets hitting a smooth 120 FPS. The improved textures bring a crispness to the familiar environments, enhancing the gritty aesthetic that defined the original. However, the reviewer notes that while visually impressive, the game's consistent emphasis on a gritty look can sometimes lead to environments blending together. What truly sets the PS5 version apart are the exclusive features leveraging the DualSense controller. The adaptive triggers provide tactile feedback for each shot, mimicking the kick of the Lancer rifle, while the controller's built-in speakers deliver in-game audio, such as character comms, directly to the player. The iconic Lancer chainsaw revving through the DualSense speakers adds an immersive, albeit sometimes an annoying, layer to the experience. For those with a PS5 Pro, the enhancements are even more pronounced. The console's increased GPU power and AI upscaling, utilizing PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, allow for a consistent 120 FPS in 4K in many areas, though dips can occur in more demanding scenes. The game uses AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution on the standard PS5 and Xbox Series X, but the PS5 Pro's AI upscaling appears to offer a cleaner experience with fewer noticeable artifacts. This release marks a significant moment in the ongoing shift in console exclusivity, with titles like Forza Horizon 5 also making their way to PlayStation. The inclusion of Microsoft account requirements upon launching the game serves as a subtle reminder of its Xbox origins. Despite the technical polish and enhanced controls, the core gameplay loop of the original Gears of War, defined by its cover-based shooting mechanics and somewhat simplistic enemy design, is highlighted as a potential sticking point for modern audiences. The reviewer fondly recalls the visceral satisfaction of the combat, but acknowledges that, 19 years later, the gameplay can feel repetitive, with enemies often acting as bullet sponges and character development being minimal. The game's focus on meat, both in character design and combat dismemberment, is a defining characteristic, but one that may not resonate as strongly today. The reviewer also points out that the original Gears of War sequels, particularly Gears of War 2, offered more substantial improvements in narrative and mechanics, making this single-game remaster feel somewhat limited. Ultimately, Gears of War Reloaded is presented as a product of its time, best suited for those with strong nostalgic ties to the Xbox 360 era or those seeking a gaming time capsule. The gaming community is actively discussing the implications of major franchises like Gears of War appearing on competing platforms. Many see this as a sign of evolving industry strategies, with companies like Sony potentially exploring broader content distribution beyond their own hardware. Analyst commentary suggests a move towards a more community-focused business model, which could include more cross-platform releases. While this classic is making waves on a new console, we're also looking at how the very feel of playing games is evolving. Get ready to explore the immersive sensations that a next-gen controller brings to a familiar, yet revitalized, experience. Gears of War Reloaded, a masterclass in immersive gameplay on PS5. 19 years after its initial groundbreaking release, Gears of War has made a triumphant return, this time gracing the PlayStation 5 with Gears of War Reloaded. This latest iteration not only brings enhanced visuals and performance, but also leverages the unique capabilities of the PS5's DualSense controller to deliver an unparalleled immersive experience. The question is no longer just about nostalgia, but about whether the core gameplay remains as compelling and revolutionary as it once was, especially when enhanced by cutting-edge hardware. From the moment players step into the boots of Marcus Fenix, the PS5's DualSense controller immediately immerses them in the brutal world of Sierra. The adaptive triggers provide a palpable sense of recoil with every shot fired from the iconic Lancer rifle, while the controller's speaker system brings critical comms chatter and the terrifying growl of the Lancer's chainsaw directly to the player. This tactile and auditory feedback transforms the gameplay, making each encounter feel more visceral and engaging. The reviewer highlights the satisfying heft of the gameplay, a hallmark of the original Gears of War, which is amplified by the PS5's responsive controls. Whether it's the precise headshots that result in explosive eliminations or the strategic, roadie running between cover, the game masterfully blends action with tactical movement. The reload mechanic, with its timing-based boost, adds another layer of skill and reward, often turning the tide of intense firefights. Ammunition is generally plentiful, allowing players to focus on the sheer pleasure of enacting vengeance on the Locust Horde, with gore effects that are both satisfying and celebratory. Despite the overall high praise for the immersive elements, the reviewer does point out a few areas where the game could have benefited from further polish. Enemy reactions to gunfire, while improved, can sometimes feel less impactful than expected, and the AI can occasionally exhibit unpredictable behavior. Similar to previous iterations, the squad AI in the solo campaign can still be inconsistent, leading to frustrating moments, particularly in challenging encounters like the Act 1 finale. However, these minor quibbles do little to detract from the overall experience. The visual upgrade is significant, with higher fidelity graphics and improved environmental detail, capturing the original's compelling Gothic and industrial aesthetic more effectively than the Ultimate Edition. The storytelling, which begins in media res, gradually unfolds the narrative through dialogue and environmental cues, creating a compelling sci-fi experience that has aged remarkably well. The game's dedication to smart, simple design in its shooting mechanics and narrative structure makes it a standout title even today. While the experience on PS5, particularly the PS5 Pro, is lauded as a significant improvement, the reviewer expresses a nuanced perspective on future installments. The success of Reloaded in capturing the essence of the original makes them anxious about potential sequels like Gears of War. EDA, fearing that a focus on retelling past events might dilute the impact of the original's innovations. The sentiment is that the original's freshness and groundbreaking implementation of mechanics are hard to replicate. Players are particularly impressed by the DualSense integration, with many sharing their own positive experiences with the enhanced immersion. The ability to feel the game's action through the controller is a significant draw for many. We've seen how a classic can be revitalized with new tech, but what about the business side of gaming? Get ready for an outlook on console pricing that might make you want to hold onto your current hardware a little longer. And that's a wrap on today's essential gaming news. We covered potential future price hikes for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, a critical day one update for Lost Soul aside, the surprising performance of Gears of War, Reloaded on PS5, and a deep dive into its immersive DualSense features. If you found this info valuable, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next update. Let us know in the comments which story you're most excited about, and follow us on all our socials for behind-the-scenes content and more.